Hi everybody, it's Rebecca Virginia, and today I'm going to be sharing some Christmas DIYs with you. These are all part of the Try It Tuesday challenge, which is hosted by Unicorn Dust Designs. I will be sure to leave Sammy's amazing channel link below so you can check her out, as well as the link to the playlist so you can check out everyone in Try It Tuesday. First up, I am recreating this DIY using a pool noodle from the Dollar Tree. Here's the other supplies you'll need to make it. To start off this DIY, I'm going to be taking a pool noodle. I couldn't find any of the Christmas ones, so I grabbed a purple one from the Halloween section. And then I took some of this Dollar Tree white paint and I just painted it all white pretty much as a primer. But if you're able to find the red ones from the Dollar Tree, that will save you a lot of time. Now, this is going to be our pool noodle candle. And to fit the tea light inside of the pool noodle on top, I am just placing it on top and tracing it with a pen. Then I'm going in with some scissors and cutting out the area so that the tea light will fit nice and snug inside the pool noodle. And today's DIY is a part of Try It Tuesday, and I got this idea from Make It with Micah. I will link her video on this down below. Saw this, I think it was last week, and I thought it was such an amazing idea, so I'm really excited that now I get to recreate it and have it in my home. I saw a lot of people use the pool noodles in Halloween decor, but I thought Micah's use of this as a Christmas decor was really unique, so again, I was very excited to recreate it. And now that I've cut the top of that pool noodle, the tea light fits nice and snug. And here is where, if you had the red pool noodle from the Dollar Tree, your life would be a lot easier. But since I did not, so after I had primed it white and recut it, I'm going in with this color. It's an extreme glitter red by Folk Art. And you'll see in a little bit that I kind of gave up on this technique. So I thought it was going to be a lot more vibrant. And when it dried, you could definitely see the glitter. But I wanted mine to be like Micah's pool noodle and be tons of red glitter. So I ended up doing one coat of this, and it's essentially a little bit of glitter and Mod Podge. And after it had started to dry and it wasn't coming out as vibrant as I wanted it, you will see I changed course and decided to instead go in with some red fine glitter from the Dollar Tree. I am also going to be painting the tea light. I want this to blend seamlessly into the pool noodle so it all looks like one piece. So that's why I am painting the base of this little tea light, also from the Dollar Tree. And you can see once I started to add the red glitter to this pool noodle, it is so much more vibrant and in the Christmas spirit. So I decided to use the red glitter all over and kind of abandon my glitter paint. I think if I did a few more coats, it would be good, but I already had this red glitter on hand, and I just love the vibrancy of this, so I'm trying to conserve my glitter by using a paper plate, and then once the paper plate got fairly full, I would bring in another paper plate and then dump that glitter onto the noodle, and again, glitter, it's messy, so I just set down some craft paper so that when I was done with this, it would be a little bit of an easier cleanup. But anytime you're using glitter, it's pretty much going to get all over the place, so that just comes with it. But the final result was so pretty that I didn't mind. It's also important to get that top section of the pool noodle. We are going to be putting the tea light inside of it, but you want to make sure the edges are also covered in glitter. And then I ended up taking the tea light and just kind of rolling it around in the glitter and using my fingers to make sure that I got the glitter all over that tiny tea light. I let this dry for 24 hours, and then after it was done drying, I did go in with some lightweight hairspray and I gave that a light coat to help seal in the glitter. And now I am taking some of this glittery, sparkly white ribbon from the Crafter Square section, and I'm just wrapping this around our pool noodle so that it starts to look like a candy cane. And I just cut it off at the ends and added a little bit of hot glue to secure everything in place. Then I popped in our tea light and it fit perfectly and really blended nice and seamlessly because I had added the glitter to it. I grabbed a 4-pack of these glass little jars from the Dollar Tree and a whole set of their clear shower rings. And then I took some black paint and painted them. A quick tip is that you can actually just paint the inside of the bowl and then it'll look black from the outside without having to put any paint on the outside, so you still get that smooth, glassy, finished look. You just saw I just popped the shower ring onto the side of that glass dish. I didn't even hot glue it on. It stayed pretty well, but you could hot glue it down if you wanted it to be extra secure. Then I placed some hot glue on the bottom of the pool noodle and stuck it down into the jar, and it was all ready to go and be displayed in my home. The next DIY are some larger pieces of Christmas decor that I made using entirely Dollar Tree items. Here's everything that you'll need to recreate this on your own. This next DIY is combining some ideas from two creators that I love, Glue Guns and Roses and Olivia's Romantic Home. They both did this DIY, but did it a tiny bit different from one another. So right now I am following Olivia's technique of just painting the top section of our deer, his head and his antlers, and then in a bit we're going to be covering his body. And I ended up doing 2 layers of white paint. I didn't need to soak off the glitter. The paint really does cover it up nice and well. And then I took one of these large skewer sticks that I also got from the Dollar Tree, and I am just painting this white to match the top section of the deer. To cover the deer, I'm going to be using some of this buffalo check fleece fabric. Actually, it's not fabric, it is a scarf from, of course, the Dollar Tree. And not only would it be very cute to wear, but it works great for this DIY. So I am taking some hot glue and putting it on the sparkly parts of the deer, and then just laying down the fabric over it. You want to make sure you're getting all parts of the deer and really pressing down the fabric so it's not going to have a bunch of wrinkles or puckers anywhere on it. And I'm just continuing adding some hot glue down and pressing the fabric down on top of the deer. I gave the hot glue about a minute or 2 to dry, and in the meantime, again, I'm just pressing that fabric down and making sure it's nice and smooth, and then I cut it off from the rest of the scarf. And this is when it can get a little bit time consuming. You are going to cut out the deer, so I'm just taking some larger scissors, and then I also use some smaller ones in between, and I'm just cutting off all of that excess fabric so that the only fabric left is covering the deer. Continue cutting the fabric out, and the next part is optional. I decided, just in case, I was going to put this in front of my fireplace and I didn't want you to be able to see the glittery backside. So not only did I paint the back of the deer head white, but I am going to be covering that in fabric too. So once the front side was all done, I repeated the exact same process on the back side, grabbing the other half of the scarf and putting down some hot glue, laying the fabric on top, and then going over it with some scissors to cut out the deer silhouette. And this scarf worked great. I still had quite a bit left over, which I'm going to be using later in this DIY, so you are able to cover the deer front and back and still have some of this buffalo check fleece left over to use. Once I was done with the back, I flipped my deer back over and I started adding some embellishments. I took some garland and cut it into 2 smaller pieces. The Dollar Tree had these really pretty, puffy, black and white buffalo check bows that I really liked, so I put that down, as well as 2 little silver bells onto the side. For the back, I am taking a bunch of hot glue. I'm going to be covering this in fabric, so I didn't mind how it looked or how much hot glue I used. So I used a bunch to hold the skewer stick in place. Then to cover up that hot glue, because it didn't look so pretty, I cut out a small section of the buffalo check scarf, and then I used a little bit of hot glue, and I'm just covering the back so then the hot glue marks are not quite so obvious. To make sure that this deer was able to stand up on its own, I'm taking a little bit of floral foam and sticking the skewer stick through that and into this old vegetable can. Next, I took a bunch of these rocks that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and I am just filling up the vegetable can so that it'll have some weight to it and be able to hold up the skewer stick and our deer. After our rocks were in place, I took what was left over of that buffalo check scarf and I placed the vegetable can on top before pulling up the fleece and basically just covering up so it looked prettier, and then taking a piece of jute and wrapping that around so it looked like a nice bundle. As the last little embellishment, I took some more garland that had a larger silver bell attached to it and just wrapped that around the bundle. The last DIY in today's video is a Christmas trees sign that I saw DIY Home and Crafts make. Here's everything that you'll need to make this DIY on your own. I took a Halloween sign from the Dollar Tree and I covered up the beware and all the glitter with some white paint. I didn't show that because it was kind of boring and it took a couple of coats. But then I went in with some brown paint and my stippling brush, and I'm just creating some faux wood lines so I could make this look like it was a wood plank. Then I took my Cricut and I cut out with some vinyl Helen and Ed's Christmas trees. I will also link a really adorable Christmas tree farm printable, so if you don't have a Cricut, don't worry, you can still do this DIY. And Helen and Ed's Christmas tree farm is actually a real Christmas tree farm. It is owned by my cousin's family, so I am making this sign for her. If you live in Pennsylvania, check it out. Then I took these two ornaments. They were glittery branch-looking trees, and I am hot gluing two to each side. Then I grabbed some nautical rope, and I am wrapping it twice around the ends of our sign. I love how the sign looked with the trees and the rope, but I still thought it needed some pops of color, so I picked up these ornament fillers from the Dollar Tree, and I am placing two hollies on the opposite sides, and then I took a wood star. I think it was 100 in a pack at Hobby Lobby. I have so many wood stars, and I stained it with paint and water, and I'm placing that in the center. For a lot of my hanging signs, if I don't want to make a jute hanger, then I will use the soda tab trick. And what you do is just take the tab off of your aluminum can and bend it a little bit and then apply it with some hot glue to the back of your sign, and it works great to hold up the signs. I had so much fun making all the crafts in today's video for the Try It Tuesday challenge. Again, I will be linking the Try It Tuesday playlist down below for you all to check out. Until next time, keep searching, keep creating.